Good evening, everyone. How is everybody's feeling tonight? How many people are excited about our gala tonight? Come on, give me a show of hands. My name is Khulud Bustami. I'm your gala chair for tonight. And I want to welcome you all for coming today. Thank you for being here. Our theme for tonight is the power of giving. Yes, indeed. Today we're going to be celebrating the energy and the power around giving. Whether you're a donor or a sponsor or a volunteer or a staff member, thank you so much for the power that you're giving Access California Services to be able to help our people in our community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to start by thanking our public officials for being here today. Thank you for your support. Our sponsors, our silent auction donors, and our community members. I also wanted to thank Access California Services staff and our volunteers who worked so hard on pulling this wonderful and amazing gala for us tonight. And I also wanted to thank the Anaheim Hilton Hotel and their staff for their outstanding customer service and their hospitality. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Before we start our program, I would like to introduce our MC for tonight, Sheikh Yasser Vazaga. I'm sure most of you know him in our community. He is the director of the Mental Health Department in Access California Services. He is a motivator, a thought leader in the US and Canada and the Middle East. He guides many mental-related type of programs at Access. One of them is helping refugees with post-traumatic stress and also helping refugees settling their families in Orange County. Please welcome with me Sheikh Yasser Vazaga.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessings be upon all of you, and thank you very much, Khulud. And let me just ask one more time, how are you all doing? Very good. We have a very simple rule for the night, and I really want you to pay attention to this rule. Just one single rule, and it will make the rest of the night a very sweet night. If I say anything that is remotely funny, please laugh. Very good. You got the idea now. And a belated Happy New Year to all of you. Are we having a good 2013 year? Has it been good to you? Good. 2013 is actually bad news for me, believe it or not, because I just turned 40, believe it or not. Do we have anybody who is 40 here? Yeah? Yeah, and they say that by 40 what happens is that they call it the middle age, and they call it the middle age because your age starts showing up in the middle, if you know what I mean. And that is clearly and visibly the case here is with me. By 40 they say that you keep adding pounds and you lose hair. And again, that is also my story, people. Like to begin by welcoming all of you here tonight. And I'd like to especially thank our public officials who are present with us and who have confirmed their attendance. Some of them are still on the way, but they have confirmed their attendance with us. I'd like to begin by welcoming and acknowledging Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, representing the 46th District here. Senator Lou Correa, representing the 34th District. Assemblywoman Sharon Kirk Silva, representing the 65th District. Assemblyman Kurt Hagman, representing the 55th District. And Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia, representing the 58th District. OC Supervisor from the 4th District, Sean Nelson. Yes, indeed, he's here. And the Mayor of the City of Anaheim, Mayor Tom Tate. Mayor Pro Tem, City of Anaheim, Gail Eastman. Council Member, City of Anaheim, Chris Moy. Council Member, City of Anaheim, Jordan Brandman. Lucille Krink, Councilwoman, City of Anaheim. And for this big one, people, you really need to put your hands together. He is the Chief of Anaheim Police Department, John Welter. And we also have our own Ali Saleh, Mayor of the City of Bell as well. Okay. And of course, our keynote speakers, Congressman Andre Carson, State of Indiana, and our other public official keynote speaker as well, Paul Romantero, who will be addressing us later in the night as well. On behalf of Access and on behalf of our community here in the Orange County, we want to welcome you again and say thank you very much. And to begin addressing us here, I would like to invite to the podium the Mayor of the City of Anaheim, Mayor Tom Tate. Mayor Tom Tate has visited our office once, and I remember he said that he likes to spread kindness, and he's developed a program, the Hi Neighbor program. So please put your hands together for Mayor Tom Tate.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, welcome everybody. Welcome to Anaheim. If you're not from here, if you're from Anaheim, it's good seeing you. So many friends. I tell you, we are very, very proud to have Access California in our city. And you know, as a city, we strive to become a city of kindness, and that means that is part of our ethos. So if you think about it, a kind city is really a holistic way of approaching matters. So a few months ago, I spent a good part of the day at Access California, and I tell you, I was very moved. Walked into a room, and there's a group of women who are just recently here, refugees mostly, learning English. And what struck me was, in a word, this is kindness. This is what people do. It's not just being nice, it's doing something for someone else, something affirmatively. So, like I said, we are all very proud. I want, they were introduced earlier, but my council, Councilman Jordan Brandman is here, and Councilwoman Lucille Kring, and I think Chris Murray and Gail Eastman are on their way. But we, on behalf of the entire City Council, on behalf of the entire city staff, and particularly on behalf of the 350,000 people who live in Anaheim, we want to welcome you and thank Access California for your kindness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. That was Mayor Tom Tate of the City of Anaheim. And I know that you are enjoying your dinner, and we will make sure that we give you the time to enjoy your dinner. But please do quiet it down so that we are able to hear what our friends and supporters and public officials are sharing with us here this evening. I would like to welcome now the president of the board of Access California. And as you know, Access is made up of a board member that guides the work of Access. And our president has been the very hard-working Judy Mader. Please put your hands together for Judy.
Good evening. Nala, would you come forward, please? And also will Raul Romero, Samar Abdel Fattah, and Dr. Faisal Qazi please come up? What? I do. Doctor? Summer? I can't see a thing up here, so. Is she there? Okay. And Raul? Raul Romero? Where's Raul? There he comes. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Access California, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your continued support, because without it, we wouldn't be able to provide the services we do in a cultural and linguistically appropriate manner for the neediest in our community. As of right now, I would like to recognize the other members of the Board of Directors that are here, if you would all stand. And if you're lucky enough to be at a table with one, you're going to have a lot of fun. We're here now to honor and make some awards to some very special and dedicated people. And rather than read their extensive resumes, I mean, they're really long, I'd like to tell you about the kind of people they are instead. Raul Romero. Raul? This is Raul. He is to receive our Community Engagement Award. He has been a community activist in his home area of San Gabriel Valley for many years, but his career is also as an activist. For many years now, he has been an organizer and representative for union members. In so doing, he has helped thousands of people have better lives, and their families also have better lives. And right now, he serves with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. As a result of his lifelong passion for the fairness and equality in the community and the workplace, he has been very helpful with Access in organizing employment fairs, health fairs, and other events that will help provide and bring people to employment, because employment is one of the main things that we try to provide. Can you hear me? Can you hear me in the back? Because I can hear you too. This is a short introduction for a man who has done so much on a daily basis throughout most of his life to help his fellow man. We are very proud to present the Community Engagement Award to Raul Romero. Congratulations. And thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you so
Please
much.
stay with
Thank
us.
you.
The next award goes to Summer Abdel Fattah. She is to receive our Women Who Make a Difference award. And the difference that she makes is in the lives of children. Summer developed and organized the I'd Wish List project. Through her inspirational efforts and her spirit of giving, Access California is able to annually fulfill the wishes of 200 children from families in need. How many children? Thank you. They don't get just a toy, they get to fill out a whole wish list. And the donors, and I'm sure many of you are also donors, do their best to fulfill the hopes of these children. This is a time-consuming project. I've done this sort of work before, and it takes a really lot of time. Organization, and trying to remember the names of your family. And in so doing, she brightens the lives, as do you, of both the donor and the recipient. Summer, with her sincerity and genuine care for each child, makes this happen with little fanfare. Tonight, we're offering some fanfare. Summer, you are our woman who makes the difference. Thank you very much. Our next recipient is Dr. Faisal Qazi. He is to receive our Leadership Visionary Award. Dr. Qazi, I always want to call you Dr. Faisal, is a neurologist, a biomedical ethicist, a community activist, and an advocate. Dr. Qazi's career has led down many paths and eventually even to the door, thankfully, of Access. As president of the medical network devoted to service, also known as MINDS, he has led a group of medical professionals to give of their time to treat people in need at no cost to them. In addition, can you still hear me? Okay, I can still hear you. As president of the American Muslim Health Professionals, he has been an effective lobbyist for the healthcare reform bill that was passed in 2009, and he even was invited to the signing of that bill. He has testified before Congress on behalf of low-cost or free community clinics, particularly for the underserved community of refugees and immigrants, and particularly so that they may be treated with dignity. At Access, with great generosity, he has been part of the development of our mental health services. You can imagine, or are familiar with, the kinds of medical and health problems our refugees arrive with. They also arrive with large mental health problems, and you are aware of that as well. He also gives us time to provide personal client assessments and evaluations to our clients, a very generous thing for him to do. And with his many contacts, he has seen to the growth of the Access health programs by his many contacts in the community. It is clear that with vision and hard work, he has used his professional background to effect change for those less fortunate in our community. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Are you going to say thank you?
What?
Are you going to say a few words?
Would you like
Yes, can you please? Go ahead. Sure. Yes. Yes, please, can you say? Would you like to say a few words? You don't have to. 1 minute. Less.
Well,
30
yeah,
seconds.
I'd like to say thank you, definitely. It was a very pleasant surprise that I wasn't expecting. my work is just beginning. I'm an organizer. I see a lot of benefit in putting this all together, working with Access, and along with Faisal, and along with the Persian community who's here with me today too. I'll be working on those two communities in a job fair starting in March, and future projects collectively together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for this honor. I accept this on behalf of the many community members who have made this wish list possible. If it wasn't for all their generous contributions, we never would have made it. And thank you for giving us a platform to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming, supporting Access. When I first got a call from Ms. Nahla Kayali here, suggesting that she would like to nominate me for this Visionary Leadership Award, I wonder why she's in the business of giving these awards. She should be receiving them. And Access actually coined, perhaps, the concept of visionary leadership. We really appreciate the work you do. Our work, it's a greater honor tonight because my good friend Paul Montero is here, who supported our work for the last few years. Congressman Andrew Carson, who was the first person to sponsor a congressional briefing for us in 2009 that got us going on this path. And I'd like to thank my team and family and friends that have made this possible for us to be out here and carry on our good work. Thank you so much, everybody, and please support Access tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You deserve it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just tell them to have the dinner.
Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Nahla. I have a quick question for you people. Do we have any Lakers fans? Good. Do we have any Lakers haters? All right. Well, I would like to leave you to enjoy your dinner. However, I just want to give you a quick reminder that we do have a silent auction that is taking place, and we are offering, in part of what we're offering, the Clippers tickets, and the Clippers are doing much better than the Lakers. So, any Clippers fans? Okay. We've got hockey game tickets as well. So please do go out there as you're enjoying your dinner to check out some of our silent auction items. And the silent auction would be closing in 15 minutes. Please do enjoy your dinner. Thank you very much. Fans out there. Also, I really want to express our gratitude and appreciation for our sponsors. A great deal of the work that is done by Access is done by our sponsors. I do want to acknowledge them, especially our platinum sponsors, West Anaheim Medical Center, Occidental Petroleum Corporation, as well as our gold sponsors, Wells Fargo Bank, Comerica Bank, Islamic Relief, Clean City, Hog Hospital, the Capital Group Companies, Pathway Medical Group Incorporation, Dr. and Mrs. Musa Nasser, Mustafa Milbis and family, Mun Al Khatib, as well as our silver sponsors, Downtown Motors and Mercedes-Benz, PIMCO Foundation, FAM Vance, ESCO, EH National Bank, Amana Mutual Funds Trust, Pure Aqua, Adil Barakat and family, Mohannad Malas and family, Muhammad and Nadia Diab, and Ali Khatib and family. Thank you very much. And now we have a treat for you. but this is a treat that really requires your attention. Mazen Qutayshat, if you walked in during the silent auction, someone was sitting down and they were playing the oud, an instrument that looks like a guitar. It doesn't look like it, but it's not a guitar, but it looks like it. And Mazen, is Mazen coming on stage? Yes, he is. So in any case, Mazen is a musician, and soon we will be seeing some really great and beautiful talent. Mazen has been in the US here since 1978. He was blinded at the age of 2, came to the US and finished his high school, got his degree in economics, computer science. Despite of his challenges, Mazen actually plays 15 different musical instruments. He plays an instrument called شبابة. هذه الشبابة بتاعتك؟ حبيبي. أنت عاملها؟ أنا عاملها. Okay. So now check this out. This is the instrument that Mazen is going to be playing for us. It's called Shababa. And actually Mazen made it himself. He constructed the instrument himself. Many years ago, Mazen reminds me. But really enjoy this. We really need you to be quiet.
Thank you.
No, and I really mean this. This is really important. So please do give our speakers and performers here their due attention. So please put your hands together for Mazen Qutayshat.
Thank you. Where's the microphone? I'll get it behind the microphone.
الميكروفون هاي شو بس تحسوا ايوه هون في البوديوم هنا تحتك.
كويس. هون نحطها هيك.
هي البوديوم هون.
حلو.
والميكروفون عليه.
شكرا. أبلش أعزف على طول. احكي لي وين 5 minutes are up فيها.
Okay, إذا بتحب to welcome people, please do so.
طيب. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thank Access for inviting me here tonight, and I will be playing the shababa, which is like an Arabic flute. I will be playing something called taqasim, which I wrote myself. It's like the Arabic blues, and a medley of Arabic folk songs. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Is that enough?
ما قصرت اي احسنت جزاك الله خير تفضل
بس كده امشي قدام بس. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mazen. Please, one more time for Mazen. All right. Now is, I would like to say it's the more serious part of our program, and that's where we really need your cooperation. Very excited and grateful for all the public officials who are here with us this evening. And remember, tonight is a Sunday night, and it's mostly a family day and evening for most of us, but for all of you and for all the public officials who really work all the time, I just want to express our gratitude and appreciation one more time. And the person that I'll be inviting next is really close and dear to our Arab and Muslim community. And we can go on and on talking about what Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez means to our community. But let me just bring out one point that I think is of extreme importance to us here. And again, I would like to remind you, like Judy's being reminded us, I want you to hear me, but I really don't want to hear you. So if we can keep that down, please. At Access, we pride ourselves by extending services to people who do not necessarily have access to the services. And we mainly focus on the minority group that we serve, even though our doors are open to all. So anytime that a public official comes and notices that and they encourage us, that is really important to us. So few years back, if you remember, there was a move in the Congress by Congressman King. And part of it was to bring out to the open the radicalization that is taking place within the Muslim community. And we do believe that radicalization is not a religious problem, it's really a character problem where every group can be radicalized, and every religion and every ethnicity, they have their own radicals. But we at that point felt very targeted. And we really loved and absolutely were inspired by the people who got up and stood against the bigotry, and they spoke on behalf of the Muslim and Arab community, saying that it is not fair to target those people simply because of their religious beliefs or their ethnic background. And there was one person in particular that we like to talk about, and really we are honored that she's present here with us this evening. Please put your hands together for Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez. Come on.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my hometown of Anaheim, California. It also happens to be the heart of the 46th Congressional District, a district and the people that I have had the opportunity, the honor, and the privilege to represent now for 17 years in the United States House of Representatives. So access is incredibly important to me. First of all, you notice that their chairwoman is a woman. I think that's great, Judy. You notice that their executive director is a woman. I think that's great. And they do a good job. They do a good job right here in Anaheim, where we have such a large refugee and such a large immigrant community, not just Arab or Muslim, but Hispanic and Romanian and East African and West African and all over the world. And many of them show up through the doors of Access. Now, I'm going to tell you that both of my parents are immigrants to the United States. They both came from Mexico. And you know, for me, I always saw my father as a very strong man. But he has Alzheimer's now. And in Alzheimer's, one of the things that happens is that people start to remember their past. So now I have learned the stories straight from my father's mouth of his time as a recent arrival to the United States, learning the language, figuring out how to get a job, how to take the bus, finding housing, being cheated, all of the things that happen to the newly arrived to our country. So to Access, on behalf of my father and my mother, thank you for the work that you do. It's very important. 17 years ago, I arrived to the House of Representatives, and in my class, one of the women who arrived was a young, older woman named Julia Carson. And Julia was the salt of the earth. She was wonderful. She was beautiful. She was intelligent. She didn't say much, but when she said it, you said, wow. And Julia was a mentor to me. She was a colleague. We came in together. She was family. And because of her, The young man I am about to introduce, I believe, is family to me. Andre, I love you because I love your grandmother. I have to tell you. You know, these young people, they think they know everything. But in this particular case, Andre Carson knows things because his grandmother not only taught him things, but she showed him through example. And an incredible example she was. Now, while she was a congresswoman working through getting even bad health, but somehow Julia managed to keep things together. In Indiana, a very difficult Republican state where she was a Democrat, and she would win kind of the way we win here, you know what I mean? Time after time after time. And she was teaching this young grandchild boy wanting to be a man kind of a guy, Andre, how to be with the people. And the sad day that we lost Julia was the day that Andre was chosen by the people of that area to run for the United States Congress, and he went on to win that race. Now, in his third term in the United States House of Representatives, he is a senior whip for the Democratic team. He is an executive on the board of the Black Caucus of the Congress. He is a friend, he is smart, he is tough, he's good at strategy, he knows how to move the things, and most importantly, every time that he walks into the chamber of the House of Representatives, every vote, he has a smile on his face, and he's telling people, hello, how are you? He makes friends real fast. So I count Andre not because of helping the people in Indianapolis, not because he's working so hard on getting them jobs, not because he's progressive and he stands up for the right things in the Congress, but because not only is he smart, not only is he bright, not only is he strategic, but he's a nice guy. He's really a nice guy. Almost as nice as his grandmother, Julia. So Andre Carson, third termer in the Congress, a rising star in our United States Congress, and my friend, I'd like to introduce you to him, our keynote speaker, Andre Carson.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Thank you, Congresswoman Sanchez, for those very kind and generous words. You know, Congresswoman Sanchez is a powerhouse. She's a machine. She is tenacious. She's vivacious. She knows what it means to have power. She is sensitive to the needs of the less fortunate, but more importantly than that, I have watched her in Congress literally bring men, powerful men, to tears. That's how tough she is. We're actually committee mates now. But not only is she intelligent and beautiful, she has the kind of ability to get what she wants. And in Congress, that's a very tough thing to do. I remember talking to her on the House floor, and I was complaining about, my overhead. And she said, "What do you mean overhead? I don't even have a fundraiser anymore. I'm my own fundraiser. I make my own calls. They're ripping you off. You don't have to pay anybody." And she raises millions of dollars by doing it herself. She's the kind of person that the Republicans have found it very difficult to beat because she's a one-woman army. And I want to thank you, Loretta, my sister, for your kind words and for your leadership. Also want to thank Board Chair Judy Mader and the other board members for their tremendous leadership. Want to thank Mayor Tate. Is the mayor still here? Mayor, thank you. I want to thank Assemblywoman Garcia, Mayor Saleh, my friends from Impact, Brother Salam, Hussam Alouche. Gotta thank Nala for her tremendous work with Access California. And, you know, I want to thank you for having me come back out here because when I came out here last time, I was so moved by you all's commitment to public service and serving all people, Christian, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and others. And that is the work that we are inclined to do, and that is the true work of public service. I also want to thank Rida for her help, and Dr. Kazi, and Brother Romero, and Samar Abdel Fattah. And lastly, I want to thank my good friend, Brother Paul Montero with the White House for his outreach. You know, this administration has respected and engaged the Muslim community more than any other in the history of this country, so we applaud you. You know, friends, as I was preparing my remarks, I was reminded of something President Jimmy Carter once said. He was talking to a very small group about his faith, and he offered the following quote: "We have one life and one chance to make it count for something." Now, his words are a very powerful reminder. They offer us a challenge to make the most of each and every day, to leave a legacy that actually accomplishes something for those who are around us, and to leave the world, our nation, our communities, and our homes better than when we found them. Tonight, much like the former president, our faith demands that our lives count for something. Our faith informs our core values. It calls upon us to serve others, and it demands that we never give up. And let me tell you, as being one of two Muslims in Congress, I get a chance to have a front row seat to all that lies ahead of us. And that's why it's great to have allies, and sisters, and friends like Congresswoman Sanchez who can stand with us. As we see around the country, we still have state legislators ranting about the dangers of Sharia law. We see national voices speaking out against Muslim Americans and making very hateful accusations. But we press on and keep doing what's right. Now, this is something that we struggle with, because in doing what's right, we know that better days are ahead of us. And this is the work of Access California. You know, I've been asked on multiple occasions by constituents and reporters how faith impacts my work as a congressman. Now, I don't purport to be a religious scholar or an imam or a hafiz, but I am proud of my faith. And I tell them that there are three statements, thank you, that I find instructive. First, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said when a person dies, his work ends except for three things: ongoing charity, and knowing that it is benefited from, and a righteous child who prays for him. Secondly, do not turn away a poor man. even if all you can give is half a date. If you love the poor and bring them near you, God will bring you near him on the day of judgment. And third, you will not attain righteousness until you spend in charity for those you love. Now, these principles of faith are in powerful operation with Access California. 15 years ago, our sister saw a need in this community and she acted to address it. She saw neighbors whose lives were fractured. She saw families struggling to make ends meet. And she saw too many people who had given up hope in the face of immense challenges. For far too many in our community, there was nothing, nowhere to turn, and no one to reach out to. But no more. Thanks to the work of Access California, families are being uplifted and empowered, and they are being shown new hope and a new way forward. Now, I've had the opportunity to tour Access California, and it was clear to me that this facility, this operation, was grounded in a servant spirit. When they engage our neighbors, they never offend the dignity of a person. They protect it, they nurture it, and they do so in a holistic and sensible way. Access California gives people peace of mind and strengthens the family dynamic. They recognize that the single greatest stressor for an individual as well as a family is economic. Our finances determine if we sleep in a warm bed or under a freezing cold bridge. Whether our children, Yasser, get nutritious meals or go hungry, and whether we get access to medication or suffer alone with sickness. That is why Access California provides direct assistance to those in desperate need. And through this, they live the principles of not turning away the poor or the least of these. They excel at doing ongoing charity. Now, this is unlike a one-time gift. Now, we sow the seeds, and they sow the seeds that yield long-term dividends and results. They provide tax assistance, poor relief, and the knowledge necessary to get their clients the largest refunds from the government. And lastly, on the blessing of a righteous child who prays for you, how can you raise a child without that child being healthy? You can't do it. And over the past 15 years, AccessCal has enrolled over 10,000 children in low-cost or no-cost health. There's a Chinese proverb. There's a Chinese proverb that goes, if you want happiness for a lifetime, help the next generation. The Buddha stated, a life of service and compassion are the things that absolutely renew humanity. Mahatma Gandhi noted, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Dr. King most famously phrased, life's most urgent and persistent question is, what are you doing for others? These diverse titans teach us a very simple and universal point. It is found in all religious systems and schools of thought, and that is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Regardless of faith, regardless of philosophy, geography, or century, giving has been a constant goal for the men and women of our society who have character. You're surrounded by them tonight. And if you take a look at AccessCal's vision statement, take it to heart. This vision says we have to enrich America with its diversity. We must fully embrace opportunities open to us. We do that by putting ourselves in positions of trust in the community. We make ourselves an indispensable pillar by embracing universal justice. And that's what I try to do each and every day as a member of Congress. When I'm in DC, I think about how my vote will impact the least of these. Right now, we face a critical budget crisis, which we must combat. But when the numbers are tabulated, I focus on the human calculation. Our cost-benefit analysis is not, can we afford to do it? It's, can we afford not to do it? Can I, in good conscience, make it harder for children to eat in school? Can I cut back training in an economy where workers could get jobs if they had the skills? Can I make it harder for kids to attend college, knowing that education sets a lifetime trajectory? Can I support an across-the-board cut that puts unneeded military hardware on equal footing as funding for not-for-profits like Access California? I cannot, I will not, because I know that I was called to something greater than myself. I was called, as we all are, to amplify the power of giving, not just in treasure, but in time and talent. In just a few moments, I have the privilege of swearing in new AmeriCorps volunteers, and I hope you pay special attention to the oath because it's very fitting for tonight. In fact, I can't think of a better prescription for this great country. Faced with apathy, I will take action, and faced with conflict, I will seek common ground. As a community, we must embrace the mission of organizations like AmeriCorps and Access California. Living that kind of mission honors our collective faith, but will also serve as a stark reminder to those who make scandalous claims about Muslim Americans and our disloyalty to this great nation. Dr. King once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." We have to keep his words in mind, and we have to ask the question, what is our charge as we leave here? And our charge is to ensure our service as people of goodwill outpaces the bigotry of others. This is our roadmap, and this is how we should be directed. I want to thank my sister, and I want to thank Access California for being stewards of the trust of the people. What you're doing right now is that you are cultivating a future generation. You are instilling hope in the lives of Americans and citizens across the globe. What you're doing is critical to the work we're doing because you are a reminder of why we serve as elected officials, and you're a reminder of what it means to be a human being in the utmost sense of the word. Living your purpose is something that very few people will ever experience. Serving humanity is an honor that even fewer people will ever get a chance to do. When you leave here tonight, and our campaign was able to contribute a few dollars to Access California, but I encourage you to give with your heart to Access California. And if you're unable to give monetarily, donate time, donate your expertise, donate any skill set that you may have to strengthen this organization and make the world a better place to live. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. At this time, we want to issue the oath of service to the AmeriCorps volunteers. Are they present? Step forward. All right. All right. This is the first in the nation of Arab Americans and Muslims. Wow, this is historic. Thank you all. What an honor. What an honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Where's Loretta? Let's bring Loretta up here. I think she can do this well. She can do this better than I can. Get my sister up here. All right. Here you go. Let's go.
Oh, I'm doing this?
Yep.
You're thinking I can read, right? Young man? Okay, this is the oath of service. So raise your right hand. Look at Andre. And repeat after me. I will get things done for America.
I will get things done for America.
To make our people safer, smarter, and healthier.
Make our people safer, smarter, and healthier.
I will bring Americans together to strengthen our communities.
I will bring Americans together to strengthen our community.
Faced with apathy, I will take action.
Faced with apathy, I will take action.
Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground.
Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground.
Faced with adversity, I will persevere.
Faced with adversity, I will persevere.
I will carry this commission with me this year and beyond.
I will carry this commission with me this year and beyond.
I am an AmeriCorps member, and I'm getting things done.
I'm an AmeriCorps member, and I'm getting.
Give it up for the AmeriCorps volunteers. Congratulations. Thank you.
You notice they're mostly women.
Thank you. All right, let's give them another round of applause.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, and thank you very much, Congressman Andre Carson. Thank you very much. And by the way, this was indeed a historic moment. This is the very first time in the history of the AmeriCorps program, which has been going for about over 50 years now, that an Arab Muslim AmeriCorps is recognized by the federal government. So this was a big deal for us here tonight. Our next speaker is a person who needs no introduction. We all know her. We've all met her before. and we are just very fascinated by the amount of work that she does. When Nahla is on vacation, she is calling Access. When Nahla is not feeling well, she is working from home. When Nahla does not sound good, she is using the emails. So every time, and believe me when I say this, ladies and gentlemen, Nahla Kayali works for the community all the time. Please welcome Nahla Kayali.
Thank you, Sheikh Yasser. Well, Assalamu alaikum. Masa al khair. Good evening, our distinguished guests, religious leaders, public officials, honorees, sponsors, Access Board of Directors, dedicated staff, and volunteers, AmeriCorps members, Gala Committee, volunteers, and our brothers and sisters in humanity. Thank you for being here. It's a wonderful to see dedicated supporters to Access work. We're honored to have Congressman Andre Carson with us tonight. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Paul Montero from the White House. Actually, both are my friends at the White House. With the God great blessing, the year 2012 was a great year for the clients we serve. As we continue serving funding from the County Social Service Agency, City of Anaheim, foundations, businesses, and sponsors, this year we were granted the AmeriCorps program. It's a historical achievement. It's the first in the nation. We really worked hard to get it, and our AmeriCorps members are serving. Now we have a satellite office, and we collaborated with Islamic Center of Southern California. We're honored to collaborate with them, and we do have 2 AmeriCorps members serving the community in Los Angeles. Another prestigious achievement, a funder, through the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. As I look around the room here, I reminded myself that our supporters, all of you, are making a difference in our community. Just being here tonight, you're making a difference. Thank you very much. This evening, I would like to share with you stories from families that we have been serving through the generous contributions of all of you. For the purpose of confidentiality, the names have been changed. I would like to tell you about George and Mary and their baby daughter, Zena. This couple lost custody of Zena. Both George and Mary could not see their own child for 2 months, simply due to culture misunderstanding that led this family to fall in the cracks of the system. Let me give you a better idea about Mary. Mary is a kind and loving mother, but also a young mother who came new to the United States, feeling of a culture shock and a language barrier in a new country with a young baby led her to having postpartum depression. With most mothers, they have it after they deliver. Mary became disconnected from George and Zena and could not even care for herself. Zena was removed from the care of her parents and placed in a foster home. George and Mary become lost, angry, and confused as how they could lose a baby that they love so much. This brought George and Mary to the door of Access California Services. They were referred to Access through the Children and Family Children in Orange County. With Access support, we will be able to mediate between parents and Children and Family Services, Access educated Children and Family Services on the Arab and Muslim culture and how those immigrants and refugees face in a new country, and how those barriers can impact their state of mind. It is important that we take into consideration challenges immigrants face in the new country and how prevent them from building foundation of security. Mary was not an unfit mother, but rather a mother who needed support from people who could understand her frustrations and help her guide her. Access advocated for baby Zina to be reunited with her parents before Christmas. And although intense counseling sessions for parents and by our in-house therapist and with our collaborative with meeting with Children and Family Services and court, not only we were able to reunite Mary and her baby, we taught Mary parental role and teach her parenting skill. But we were able to reunite the family by Christmas night. Now Zina is happy reunited with parents, and they build their family in their new home. Just to give you an idea, this is one of 20 similar cases right now in the system. We have received throughout the year of 2012, and thousands of hours are spent working with these clients and government agencies to help reunify families. Without your support, we could not have been able to deliver and advocate for those families and provide mental health services. But supporters, our work does not end here. Now, I have a heartful story of hope, love, and destiny, of two families. This is about two lonely seniors, never had children before, who had no one but each other. Started a family. Khalid and Khadija came to United States 5 years ago as refugees. To keep themselves busy and to meet other people, they joined English as a second language at Access California Services. This class was not only an opportunity to learn the language, but it was a time for them to meet other people. The class became the second home for them, along with other 50 students. Khalid and Khadija were not only struggling as lonely older refugee couple, but they were also worried that they would no longer receive cash assistance from Social Security if they did not become citizens within a year. Khalid and Khadija relied on this income to survive at bare minimum. If they lose it, they become homeless. Through the self-help class at Access California, they were referred to our immigration department for assistance. Our case manager, who then educated them to apply for citizenship at no charge at Access California, and for them to sustain their benefit. Right now, not only are they are attending ASL class and self-help, but also during the evening, they prepare for their citizenship exam and interview. Hand in hand now, this couple is becoming more engaged with the various services offered at Access California. However, even though they were in the process of becoming citizens and engaging in new activities, they were still struggling financially. Khalid and Khadija approached our case managers to ask if they know anyone who would want to rent a room in their home so they can pay their expense. Please stay tuned, we're coming back to them. During this time, a family arrived from Syria, escaping the war, tragedy, and family loss, with only $800 in their pocket, in hope to find security in the United States. The Syrian family was a wife and a husband, Layla and Faisal, who have 2 young children, an 8-month-old and a 3-year-old. The $800 finished quickly as a family of 4 to provide shelter and food of their 2 young children. After 1 week stay in a motel, transportation, and food, Layla and Faisal ran out of funds, and they were in the street struggling, and a home for their children. Layla and Faisal were referred to Access California by one of the Middle Eastern restaurants on Brookhurst. And through our work at the Immigration Department, they applied for the Temporary Protection Status, the TPS. They were granted work permit so that they can start building a life here. Faisal started to come to our Employment Services Department and was attending the employment workshop. Faisal started working for after 2 weeks, and he was hired at a warehouse. During this time, Access assisted him to apply for asylum. His case still pending with immigration. Access case managers applied for him and his family for emergency medical coverage. So there was still a question finding home for this family. When it struck one of our case managers and was reminded that Khalid and Khadija were looking for roommates to rent the extra room. Our case manager linked Layla and Faisal to Khalid and Khadija, and through our emergency financial assistance program, we helped to pay their share for 3 months and gave them food vouchers, enrolled their kids in our WIC program, which is a nutrition food voucher. These 2 families were thrilled to be brought together as it united a lonely couple with family of children, which only brought joy, comfort, and support. Through Sheikh Yasser's announcement at the mosque, he was able to provide them with a car donated from the community. It is with your support we are providing these services. These are just 3 families out of 6,500 individuals were served in 2012, all with similar stories. All these families need daily support, and in 2012 alone, Access provided health coverage to more than 1,300 clients. Access provided immigration services to more than 1,600 clients. Access provided counseling supportive services to more than 1,000 clients. Access provided employment services to more than 900 clients. Access provided emergency financial assistance to more than 800 clients. Access provided more than 800 educational sessions to more than 400 clients. These clients have received altogether more than 18,000 services. Please see the chart in the book. Our services relied on you and our volunteers. Every year we have more than 150 dedicated volunteers who deliver services to thousands of clients. Now you heard the words from me. Now I want to give you an opportunity to listen directly from the words of our clients and hear their perspective on services of Access California Services. I thank you very much for your support. Please enjoy the rest of the night. But for now, I invite you to watch a short video and listen to our clients with their experience of Access California Services. Thank you very much for being here.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. And this morning, the thing that I like about it, by giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, soul generated by love. And you can be that servant.
I'm domestic violence, and my ex-husband treated me bad until it came a time that he hit me, and I have been homeless since I was abused.
I was homeless, and I had never been to Southern California. I was adopted and brought up in Nigeria, and just kind of went from one place to another. And I was also a recovered alcoholic, and just trying to get my life straight.
I am Iraqi refugee, was living in Jordan, and I apply for UN with my mom to come to America as an asylum to seek a better life. The term of the food stamp finish and the cash money finish. Okay, for my mom because she got SSI, but I am not a senior. So it was like really for me it's hard time, and for my mom because she loved me, and if I get hurt then she will hurt.
When I came to Access, they welcomed me, they treat me nicely, they help me with many things.
Blindness is something that scares everybody. I don't know why, but it is. But Access really wasn't concerned with my blindness too much, except that they asked me how I coped with it, and when I let them know that I coped with it, they didn't say any more about it, and they treated me like everybody else.
The thing I needed, they give me a check for food. They helped me with the bus pass, and they helped me for somewhere to sleep.
They treat me like I'm family. I mean, I almost laugh when I think about it, because anytime I need something, within reason, they're always able to give it to me. But the one thing that they did that nobody else has ever done is try to straighten out this mess with my husband. I have a husband and a little girl in Nigeria, and for the first time, they referred me to the immigration counselor, and the immigration counselor tried to help me to invite my husband over.
Honestly, in front of you and in front of the history, as they said, Access personally, and I believe for anybody else, support me in paying the bills, the car's insurance, the many expenses. Really, I cannot count it. It's countless. My mom, personally, God mercy her because she passed away. She was so happy to come to Access, and they love her, and she loved them because she felt it's a family. She told me, Hazm, they are our family. They are nice people. They are our family. Oh, we love them all, and they love us. When my mom died, I didn't know what to do, and then again the Access, the California Service Access, they did all the paperwork, and they did the arrangement also with the mortuary for my mom funeral to finish it in a way. It's keep my mom dignity and respect for her and for her memory.
أنا والد العائلة الموجودة حالياً. أنا أب، أسرتي مكونة من 3 أطفال وزوجتي الحمد لله والشكر، وجينا ووصلنا إلى أمريكا، وكانت تعرف الظروف كلها الصعبة بالعراق، والحمد لله والشكر الناس اللي موجودة بولاية كاليفورنيا مدينة أناهايم دلتنا على أكسس كاليفورنيا، والحمد لله قدموا لنا كل المساعدات اللي مطلوبة من ناحية كل اللاجئين المغتربين لأمريكا.
The power of giving is the heart of Access California Services. As the need has been growing every day, from refugees and immigrants, new arrivals, Access California Service has been addressing the need, and services been growing every day. Our service has been recognized by the White House. We addressed the need of our community, our refugees, to our President Obama. This year, 2012, was a great year as we received funding from distinguished agencies, federal, state, county, and city of Anaheim, and many other funders from businesses and foundations. As we promised our funders that we will be matching what they ask us for. Today, I urge you to be generous and support us as we keep our promise with our funders and keep our door open to our brothers and sisters in humanity. Thank you. Please be generous.
Thank you, Access. أشكر جدا جهود منظمة Access.
If I could have the chance, I would give back to Access of California.
So I thank God for how the ladies here and other men are, together with me and respect me. I thank God for that.
Thank you, Access, for helping me and my mom and my family in all our hard time. But also I want to say to the community, please help Access by giving back to her what she gave to you and to me and to everybody.
Thank you very much. That was a beautiful video, wasn't it, by the way? Yeah. And did you all see Nahla talking to President Obama? I got a text, I got the picture of her sitting with President Obama. I think they took the picture at 9:05 and I got it at 9:06. So that was nice. But you know what was really nice about that? Nahla really did deserve to be there. That was what was nice about it. Alrighty, people, our next guest is somebody who is in our community at this point. He is known to be as an American intellectual, and he is a social entrepreneur. He has served as a senior consultant for the Gallup organization And most of all, he is a lawyer. And you know what they say about lawyers? Talking to them is not cheap. So, you know, the bios are in your small booklet, and I'm sorry I'm not able to do justice to him because our next speaker needs to catch a flight. But this is really, really a very influential person, a really important person, and intellectual, and we are very delighted to have him with us tonight. Please put your hand together for Ahmed Yunus.
They say the goodness in life belongs to those who believe. But sometimes your ability to believe is challenged by the realities that you see before you. It's confused by the emotions that you have within your heart and the ideas that are conflicted within your mind. In fact, through the process of change comes the dawn of a new era. It seems that every time we meet, the world is undergoing significant flux. Chaos and confusion trump collective calm. We've taken the intelligence and transplanted it from human beings to weaponization mechanisms. So now we have really smart bombs and really stupid people. It causes a challenge for people that are trying to bring about a change in the reality that everyone is living. And as you continue to hope to maintain your belief in what is possible, there are moments when you lose your stability, you lose your footing, you lose your ground. Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist leader in the history of our country, a man that was both a slave at one point in his life and a free man, he said, "I prayed for 20 years with no answer. Then I prayed with my legs, and the Lord responded." There are many of us here praying for the development of a society that does not have within it the acceptability of hate and racism. Many of us are praying for children in Syria to be able to eat, drink clean water, go to a school without being bombed. Many of us are praying for our own capacity to give and our own ability to bring about the change that is necessary in the society within which we take a place. But an individual, like a country, like a community, sometimes gets dizzy. Sometimes you lose your balance, you lose your footing. And in those situations, each and every one of us, no matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how much ability you have in this life, each and every one of us will need a helping hand at some point in time. That might be counseling for the emotional challenges that you're facing. It might be help getting a job and counseling for the emotional challenges that exist when you don't have one. It might be your ability to become part and parcel of the society around you, to prepare your taxes, to be a contributor, to be a creator, and to have a constellation of individuals that help you come about that reality of engagement and integration. It might be a time when you need help financially. It might be a time when your employer's health care plan just does not cover what you're going through. More likely, it could be a time when you receive a phone call from an individual that knows of someone that needs help, but you don't know what to do to support their cause. And it's moments like that that institutions like this make a lot of sense. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. If that is the case, then I want you to consider that checkbook Ismail, and I want you to slaughter that checkbook for the sake of God. Because only if you give will you understand the message that I am going to try to impart now. Fighting the unjust powerful many times does not come by countering the injustice of their power. But oftentimes it comes when you yield to the people that are oppressed the access requisite for the change that they're trying to find in the realities that they live on a day-to-day basis. You might not be able to help directly many of the children that are in Syria today that need help. You might not be able to change the reality that exists in Egypt. But you can support a mayor that was on CNN today, Ali Saleh, shown as the example of what you do when your city is run by corrupt thieves. You take it over for $8,000 a year and you fix it for the sake of humanity. Many of you listen to Kulthum and to Abdul Halim Hafiz. You listen to the poetry of Langston Hughes, to the jazz and blues of B.B. King. These are the people whose music and poetry defined the life that you have lived. Well, in our time, there are individuals like them. There is a Nahla Kayali for Rosa Parks. There is a Keith Ellison and Andre Carson and Loretta Sanchez for Dr. Martin Luther King, and there is an Offendum for Abdul Halim Hafiz. If you believe that these people can serve that role, then you're doing the only thing that is needed for us to bring about the change that you still believe in despite the chaos and confusion that you're seeing. So this is my admonition to you. Let's ensure that the complexity of our collectivity is sourced in something more significant than the simplicity of our identity. Let us be the people that are defined by what we want in the world and what we will do in the world, not by where we were born or what faith we ascribe our lives and ourselves to. Now, I have a job here to do, which is to introduce a friend of mine. Does the fist mean don't introduce him? Okay, introduce him. Okay. In Washington, D.C., you get to meet a lot of really cool people. And one of those cool people is, I remember the day after Andre Carson became a congressman, it was Jummah on Capitol Hill, and I got the straw for the khutbah that week, and I'm standing there, and I'm giving the khutbah, and all of a sudden, this very powerful congressman walks into the mosque late for the khutbah. And I thought to myself, this could be a moment for my political career. Paul Montero serves as liaison to faith-based and secular belief communities and assists in the coordination of the White House Mentorship Program. Paul's worked for Obama when he was a senator. He's worked for the United States Supreme Court. He's worked for major law firms in Washington, D.C., and pursuant to his public persona, the last time I saw Paul, he was jumping out of his car at a very posh hotel in Washington to give a speech. And I looked at his car and I looked at him and he looked at me. He goes, "Relax, Eunice. I bought that when I worked at the law firm." So ladies and gentlemen, I offer to you a man that comes representing the President of the United States of America, a man that has lived his professional life pursuant to what it is that each and every one of us want to be our legacy on this earth, to allow the contribution of our actions to this world, to be the catalyst that people need in order to live a dignified life, not because they are Muslims or Arabs, not just because they are Americans, but because they are human beings that are endowed with a dignity from the Creator of all man. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the President of the United States, Esquire Paul Montero.
Assalamu alaikum, and good evening. And thank you for that very kind introduction, overly generous, and it's an honor to call you friend as well. Before I get to my remarks, I want to bring up Judy to make one very important announcement. So let's welcome her to the podium.
Well, you may have a clue. Now's the time to write that check. You see the envelopes and brochures on your table. There will be people coming through to pick them up. And as you've heard, we really appreciate your generosity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I asked earlier what I should speak about, and I was told about 10 minutes. So I'll be brief, so don't worry, you won't hear a long speech from me. I do want to recognize all of the elected officials, the police chief, the mayors that are here, the council members, and especially an American hero, Congressman Andre Carson, someone I'm proud to know. Thank you for your leadership in the Congress. Now, with your theme this year of the power of giving, obviously, as I look at Nahla, I have the great fortune of working with many dynamic leaders around the country that are working to meet the needs of our neighbors in need. But I haven't met anyone like her. And as has been said before, but I wanted to say it myself, I'm proud to know you, and thank you for your service through Access California and this organization. Looking at your history, $2,000 from Judy, and reading the book, How to Start a Nonprofit Organization in the State of California. And look at what you've been able to do with the wonderful team you have. That deserves a round of applause. This doesn't happen by itself. This doesn't happen because people have some good intentions and some time on their hands. This happens because people make a deliberate decision to invest seed money, to give their lives in service for humanity. And looking at the range of services that you provide here, everything from education and tax preparation services, working with victims of domestic violence, it's in line with what the President views of, as he said it better than I could, that the solutions to America's challenges are being developed every day at a grassroots level, and government should not be supplanting that, we should be supporting it. But sometimes, as you can imagine, in Washington, it seems like we do everything we can to frustrate your work. We've just been through a very difficult fiscal cliff battle that we'll have to go through again in a few weeks over sequestration. And there have been proposals out there that say, well, the solution to deal with the deficit problem is to cap charitable deductions. That's the solution. We'll save money that way. And based on, not our numbers, not partisan numbers, but the Congressional Budget Office, a cap of $50,000 on charitable contributions would result in $150 billion less in charitable contributions. That's billion with a B. A cap of $25,000 on charitable deductions, $200 billion less in charitable giving. That would affect every nonprofit in every sector in every state. And the President has steadfastly refused to go down that road because that is not the way to solve our deficit problem. By cutting off at the knees the organizations like Access California Services that are catching the people that are already falling through the cracks that the government cannot reach. And so I want to say on behalf of the President, as I rush to catch my plane back to the White House tomorrow morning, the importance of social services in this climate we're living in is hard to overstate. The investments we've made as an administration in early childhood education, in Head Start, in early Head Start, in feeding programs, in child care assistance programs. These are things that hundreds of thousands of kids depend on, that the President has not wavered on, whether it was the threat of a default on our debt with the debt limit showdown, whether it was the threat of going over the fiscal cliff that we just got through at the end of the year. We have made it through all of these fights, and people sometimes miss it, without a single dime taken from Social Security, without a single dime taken from food stamps, without a single dime taken from Medicaid or Medicare. And that, again, does not happen by itself. It's because you have a president who knows the import and impact of these programs. A president, the only president I know of, who grew up using food stamps himself. So when people talk about these numbers and figures as sort of policy proposals or debates, the president is someone that I'm proud to work for because he never loses sight of the human element of these things that we fight over in Washington. And it's nothing short of inspirational to me to sit in this room and see the real world impact that the fights the president has fought and won with the help of people like Congressman Carson. The impact it's having in enabling you to be able to serve your neighbors in need, whether they're Muslim or Arab or not. Not because you want your picture in the paper, not because you want publicity, but because your faith tells you this is what you should do. Your obligation as Americans says this is what we should do. And on election night, you probably remember the president talked a lot about this idea of citizenship. At a time when you hear a lot of people talking about freedom and liberty, the other side of the coin is the responsibilities that come with being a citizen. It's not simply taking, it goes back to the power of giving. And I'll quote again from the president because it's never a bad idea to quote him. On election night on November 6th, he said, "The role of citizens in our democracy does not end with your vote. America has never been about what can be done for us. It's about what can be done by us together through the hard and frustrating but necessary work of self-government." That's the principle we were founded on. And if we're talking about social services, or if we're talking about foreign policy with what's happening overseas in the Middle East, we need you as part of that conversation as well. Not to tell us we're always right, because we're not, but to be a part of the conversation to tell us when we're wrong, to hold us accountable to the principles that the president ran on, to keep us honest for the things that you know your community needs. Now, you saw a class of AmeriCorps volunteers sworn in tonight, and it's historic, as has been said before. In the last two budget cycles, I think the last three budget cycles, I know as early as 2010, every single House Republican budget proposes to zero out this place called the Corporation for National Service. How many of you have heard of this place, the Corporation for National Service? And some of you have heard me tell this story before, so don't cheat. Anyone heard of the Corporation for National Service? A couple? Most folks have never heard of this place. And so in the last couple of House Republican budgets, one of the places they proposed to cut $0 is this place called the Corporation. So you've never heard of it, so why would you care if you even heard that it was being cut? But the people that know what it does are people in programs like Habitat for Humanity, or Teach for America, or AmeriCorps, folks that give their lives to building capacity for wonderful nonprofits like Access California Services. And these folks that are in these programs don't have a lot of money to fly to Washington and go to Capitol Hill and say, "Congressman so-and-so, why did you vote to cut our funding?" But they have wonderful networks. They talk to one another. They build homes together. They teach together. They serve their communities together. And city by city, what they did was they went down to their congressman's district office. Not hostile, not partisan, not in your face. Private meetings where AmeriCorps volunteers or Habitat for Humanity volunteers or Teach for America fellows privately meet with their members of Congress that voted to defund them. And they say, "Congressman so-and-so, I thought you supported Habitat for Humanity. You built a house with us last summer, don't you remember that?" Or "Congresswoman so-and-so, you gave a great speech about what a great job we were doing in Teach for America. Why would you then vote to cut our funding? Why would you do that?" And you know what some of these members would say? "I didn't know that. I didn't know that your funding was tied up in this very big bill. But don't worry, we'll fix it." And privately, they come back to Washington, and Democrats have these caucus meetings, and Republicans have these caucus meetings on the Hill, and that's where they count the votes. And in those meetings, they say, "Take me off of that corporation thing because I actually support what they do in my district." Or, "Take me off of that corporation thing because they're killing me at home. It's not worth the risk." And over the course of 6 weeks of these private meetings of AmeriCorps volunteers and Teach for America fellows, this place called the Corporation, a place most folks have never heard of, gets 95% of their budget back. And I tell that story over and over and over again to try and make the point to all of you on the other side of the country, the impact and the voice that you could have Pick your issue, whether it's social services, the money we're putting into social safety net programs, unemployment insurance, food stamps, foreign policy, you name it. The power that you have right here where you live to influence the conversation is hard to overstate. So as I am signaled to sit down, I do want to say thank you for the work that you do. It is inspiring to me because sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the impact that these programs we fight over in Washington are actually having on people that have no other option. Victims of domestic violence, refugees from countries that are coming here to a new country, a new culture, with no safety net to support them other than you. I do want to say thank you on behalf of the President. When we were hosting the President's Iftar this year, the theme was Dynamic Women. And that's why Nala was there. And that's why we'll continue to work with all of you going forward on behalf of our neighbors in need. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. And we understand that our guest has a plane to catch, so we really appreciate his patience and being here with us. Every now and then at Access, we also like to recognize local talent and also reward our audience who've been here for some time with us, and we really like to say that, and we really like to say thank you. So part of saying thank you is the entertainment, intellectual quotes that were shared with us earlier. And this time we also have a beautiful local talent. Actually, it's not local anymore. This is somebody who is internationally recognized, making a name for himself, a big name. And I just, where is Umar at? And I just met somebody who knows you from DC. And they've been giving me all the inside stories about you. He's been in California for what now, 10 years? And he refuses to change his number to a California number. Can you believe that, people? So please, I do want you to give a warm welcome to Umar Offendem, please. Put your hands together.
Assalamu alaikum. Masa al-khair. Peace to each and every one of you. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming out to support this beautiful event. Can we have a round of applause for all the organizers, sponsors, donators, speakers, volunteers. It is a pleasure to be here. It is an honor to be here, and it is certainly a responsibility to be here. I'll say it's a pleasure because I always love coming back to perform in Southern California, to this beautiful community of Anaheim. And it is an honor to be here performing on behalf of Access. You've heard all the amazing, incredible work that they've been doing for this community. And really, I just have to say that this really warms my heart to be a part of this community. As Sheikh Yasser said, it's been 10 years. And 10 amazing years. And knowing that there's an organization like Access doing this type of work is what inspires me to keep doing what I do. So thank you to everybody who's been involved. And I say it's a responsibility to be here not just because I'm Syrian, not just because I'm Arab, not just because I'm Muslim, not just because I'm American, but because I'm a human being who believes in equality, justice, and equal opportunity for all, full stop. That's why I'm here, and I believe that's why you're all here tonight. And we can have another round of applause for everybody who supported this event. Just wanted to read a few quotes from Dr. King. It seems very fitting this evening that we hear as much from this man as we can. May he rest in peace. Dr. King said that every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. And I think it's clear that Access and all the individuals involved have decided to walk in the light of creative altruism. Dr. King said, all labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. I think it's very clear that Access and all the individuals involved have undertaken that with painstaking excellence. This one might sound familiar. Dr. King said, "Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree." I know that sounds familiar to a lot of Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had a very similar saying. He said, even if you knew that the world were to end tomorrow and you were planting a tree, keep planting that tree. Of course, we have no idea if the world's going to end tomorrow or not. But it's that faith that by doing good today, you are laying the foundation for a better tomorrow, not just for yourself, not just for your family, but for your entire community. That's what drives the people of Access, and that's what makes me so proud to be here tonight on this stage with all these incredible speakers, all these incredible people, and I thank you all once again for supporting that. Now, I just wanted to read a poem by somebody who was mentioned earlier by my brother Ahmed. Of course, there's no way you can follow a speaker like Ahmed Yunus, but I will try my best. And he referenced a man by the name of Langston Hughes. I'm not sure if everybody in here is familiar with this person, but this was one of the most important voices of the 20th century here in the United States of America. He typified what we call the Harlem Renaissance. His creativity, his lyricism, arguably laid the foundation for what we call hip-hop culture today. Now, I know I'm known as a hip-hop artist to y'all. I tried to wear my Argyle sweater and be all nice and presentable for you. But make no mistake, real MC's on deck. Ain't that right, Ahmed? Yes, indeed. And the realest MC of all, Langston Hughes, said, I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood and human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I've bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. أنهار كثيرة عرفتها. أنهار كثيرة أزلية كما العالم عرفتها. أنهار أزلية تدفقت حتى قبل أن يتدفق الدم في شرايين البشر. وروحي ازدادت عمقا كالأنهار. فأنا بمياه الفرات استحممت حتى قبل انبلاج فجر الحياة. وعلى ضفاف الكونغو بنيت كوخي حيث هللت لي مياهه لأغفو. من دلتا النيل العالي أشرفت وشيدت الإهرامات العظيمة. وإلى شدو المسيسيبي استمعت حين مر به لينكولن في دربه إلى نيو أورلينز. ومع الغروب رأيت أحضانه الطينية تتحول لكتل ذهبية. لقد عرفت أنهارا أزلية معتمة كما الغسق. وروحي توغلت في القدم. وروحي ازدادت عمقا كالأنهار. Rest in peace, Langston Hughes. The reason why I decided to recite that poem for you all is to just remind us of what many people have said on the stage today, and that there is a basic humanity that binds each and every one of us here, regardless of our race, ethnicity, religion, creed, anything. And what he was able to do in that poem was remind us of that by bringing us back to the source of life, the source of civilization, and that is fresh water, the rivers of the world, from Africa to the Middle East to here in America, reminding us that we are all human beings, we are all one human family, and it is the work of Access that does the same. Thank you all once again. I'll share one more poem before I leave, and this one I'll have to dedicate to that beautiful Syrian family that you mentioned when you were speaking, Sayyida Nahla, Anisa Nahla. And of course, to the 6,500 people who were, 6,500, is that right? People who were served in 2012. That is an incredible number of people receiving the type of aid that they truly deserve as human beings. You know, my mother comes from the city of Damascus. It's one of the longest continuously inhabited cities on planet Earth. It's going through a very difficult phase right now. and its tens of thousands of years of history. But there's something really cool about being able to represent one of the oldest urban and street experiences in the world when you're a hip-hop artist in an Argyle sweater on stage at Hilton, Anaheim. And so I wrote this particular poem in honor of a very special place in the old city of Damascus, a place that is arguably one of the oldest streets in the world, one of the oldest urban experiences in the world, one of the oldest places on earth where people first got together to create what we call a community. It's called Straight Street. It's referenced in the Bible. It's where St. Paul got his sight back on the road to Damascus. It's a very beautiful street, and I've learned a lot of things from that place. And I wrote this in honor of that place, and I present it to you this evening. Of course, on behalf of Access, once again, thank you all. I took a stroll down a street called Straight. Met a medicine man about a third of the way. Predecessor to the pusher man with something to say about an apple a day, keeping the sickness away. I valued his advice at face at first, till he enlightened me to how precisely nature works. Giving us citrus fruits in wintertime for vitamin C. Just met each other, but I'm already invited for tea, subhanAllah. As fate would have it, he and I turn out to be related. A small world's even smaller when you're Arab, ain't it? Made it a point to soak in all his information about regenerative meditations and preventative medication like a modern Ibn Sina with a pretty calm demeanor and a remedy for everything that plagued the Arab nations. Yet when asked of how to cope with our impossible fate, he just said, follow the middle path to a street called Straight. And so I took a stroll down a street called Straight. Met a spiritual teacher about 2/3 of the way. Predecessor to the preacher man with something to say about a prayer a day, keeping the Satans at bay. He spoke of angels on our shoulders and the angles of our solar, systematic self-destruction, metaphysical corruption with a danger to our polar ice caps till it's out of our control and in the hands of our beholder. We philosophized for over 20 minutes like that. Taught me lessons, any questions, he would give them right back. Said the answers were within us, and I didn't like that. But I realized later why he did it like that. See, I had so much more to learn. The clock was ticking, couldn't stall. Committed his words to memory. His wisdom was enthralling, yet when asking him what was the most important to recall, he just said, follow the middle path, Straight Street, and that is all. And so I took a stroll down a street called Straight. Met a carpenter hard at work at the end of the way. Predecessor to the architect with something to say about not doing tomorrow what should be finished today. See, he manipulated wood and metal till it followed function, building all through Via Recta and Cardo Maximus Junction. Something told me he was wise beyond his years. I had a feeling from the way that he'd exposed the beams and ornamented ceilings with an ambidextrous half, nonchalantly jest and laugh, saying that my Western education made it hard to grasp his connection to the past, deep-rooted in his craft, but was more than willing to share with me these tools he knew I lacked, and for that I would be grateful. Learning how to build the monumental for the playful and the humble for the faithful. Yet when asked of how we'd stack against our impossible odds, he just said, follow the middle path, Straight Street to the gods. Thank you all so much, and thank you to Access for following that middle path. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was beautiful. One more time, please, for Ammar. That was beautiful. I think it was you, Ahmed, you said, you quoted earlier that the pen is mightier than the sword. Now that was a mighty pen right there, man. That was a mighty pen. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Access employees, can you please stand up? Access employees, do you have any more of Access people around here? Yeah. Just want to say thank you very much, all the people in the back there. These are our Access employees. Want to say on behalf of our community, thank you very much for the wonderful work that you do. This night would have not been possible had it not been for our volunteers and staff. A lot of work took place as before this night, so we want to say thank you very much to you and to all the people who were involved. One last chance to support Access would be the centerpieces are actually yours if you donate for them. The flowers are yours if you donate as well, inshallah. And I believe that the asking price is at $15 or whatever it is that you are able to afford. So on your way out, please stop by the silent auction table and just say, I took a flower, I took a centerpiece, and that is yours. Once again, thank you very much. You all have a good night and drive home safely, please. Thank you.